Hey everyone, welcome back to another gameplay commentary ranked match. In this one, we're going to be doing a Luna Snow game, and as you can see, we're a bunch of GMs in this match. And I thought this was actually a really good game to kind of go over and highlight really just how hard support ulting can be, if that makes sense. I feel like out of the three roles, support's probably the easiest, and this is coming from a support main. I feel like DPS and tank are probably a bit harder just from like a role design standpoint. But that doesn't mean that support's easy at all. Support's actually a really hard role, and especially when it comes down to ulting on some of these characters like Luna Snow, for example, I feel like the ults can be really difficult, especially to just get down, just because you have so many options with them, right? Like you can ult defensively, you can ult to counter engage, you can ult to, attack or like start an attack, or you can just simply ult if you're about to die and you think like you ulting there is going to save you and the team, right? So there's just so many options in when to use your ult, and I thought this was like a really good game to kind of showcase just how hard it can be as a support player. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the game. We'll go ahead and just sort of skip picks and bans, and yeah, we'll get right into it. All right, so let me be the first to say real quick, I actually don't like Dom that much. Out of both the game types, Dom or Convoy, I feel like Convoy is just way better, and I kind of wish that they would just have Convoy only in ranked, but I can also understand why they have Dom. Let me know what you guys think about Dom. I feel like they can maybe improve and make the logic a little bit better. I just don't really like it as much. But in any case, though, yeah, let's go ahead and analyze this game a little bit. So I just like throwing a little freeze out at the beginning just to, see if I can catch one and maybe screw up their rotation coming out of base, that kind of jazz. But here I'm going to put guard on my tank, and I want to keep my tank alive. But we do have a Black Panther sort of just chasing us down. So luckily we get a rocket res, but I actually really hate this matchup. Luna into Black Panther, it feels really hard to play, but we're going to have to deal with it for as long as we're playing Luna, which is going to be this whole game. So again, we're getting Black Panther dove. We want to try to stay alive. We want to position sort of in the back here, but to where our teammates can still help us, but to also where we can still heal everybody. So here we're just going to focus spam healing Strange and everybody on point, and hopefully Rocket can heal us as well when we're getting dove by Black Panther. So we're just going to take this sort of like vantage position up here, but now we're going to kind of go into the point because we can't really defend ourselves versus Black Panther. So it's like, okay, I'm going to reposition, try to get closer to my tanks. They're actually winning. Rocket hops on Groot's back, and we actually start getting some frags here, which is really cool. Unfortunately, the map changes. This is one thing you have to watch out for this map. It does change actually quite a bit. This is going to go up and down, so you want to be especially careful when kind of playing at that angle that I just played at, because then you're going to have to walk back around. But we are able to get the point, which is huge. And now what my teammates are doing is they're taking space, and this is really good, right? So I said in another video that sometimes offense is the best defense, and that's especially true in game types like Dom. You want to take this space. Storm ults, we're going to counter ult with Luna ult. This is a really good Luna ult, right? So the primary focus of this gameplay commentary is going to be ulting when the ult as Luna. Very good ult. We already have control, so we just want to kind of counter the Storm ult or counter any big ults, and that's what we did. Unfortunately, they also have a Psylocke. We end up getting fragged. However, I think our teammates actually fragged a whole bunch of people as well. So, yeah, they were able to do some really good stuff. And it looks like that was kind of like a neutral fight, but it's in our favor because we have point, right? So even though it's a neutral fight, we're actually still gaining, which is huge. So now we just want to make our way back to, the objective. And obviously, when the healers aren't there, everybody starts freaking out because they're like, I need health, I need health. We are going to throw guard on Strange in our tanks because guard makes it a lot easier to heal them or give them more HP. I actually really like throwing guard on Groot for some reason. I feel like Groot takes a lot of damage, and so I can just like heal him and farm a lot of my energy for my ult off Groot. Energy being, like the currency that the ult uses, essentially. But here we're going to get dove by Black Panther again. This was kind of a mistake by me to jump down here, but we end up living. I kind of want to jump towards my allies next time. I don't really want to get them hit with the AoE, but I do want to jump towards them so they can help me out if anything. Storm unfortunately gets ult again. If I actually remember correctly, this guy was ulting like crazy this game. Oh, by the way, too, this is before the Storm buff. Like this game is like maybe a week or two old. This is before the Storm buff. So this guy was actually playing really well with Storm, even prior to her getting buffed, which was actually kind of crazy. But we're going to miss some autos onto Black Widow, but we end up just getting her with our left shift. Sometimes if I'm missing autos on Luna, I just hop into left shift. I'm like, all right, like I got to keep you alive. Let's do it. I'm still not a fan of Black Widow, but it is what it is. I've had some pretty good ones on my team. But here we want to retake this point. So, we're just going to kind of sit in the back a little bit, see what's going on. We know Storm doesn't have ult, which is huge, and I do have ult soon. So I'm thinking like, okay, as long as I can live through this dive, I can actually get ult. Maybe we can play up here a little bit. But unfortunately, we end up dying. Raccoon's res is taken by Namor, which is completely fine. If anybody's going to get rezzed by Namor or by a Raccoon, I'd rather it just be either DPS or a tank, probably a DPS. So we end up getting fragged here, but again, I should have ult coming up soon, and I think Storm's actually going to have ult coming up soon as well. Storm does get ult up pretty fast, but I think we're going to go for a portal play here, if anything. And this is actually a good portal play, right? Like this is actually kind of why I like my Strange's sort of saving portal to retake, but this Psylocke gets aggressive here. This was really trolled by Psylocke. I understand what she was trying to do, but she's not going to be able to cancel the portal. And the fact that she ulted and just got picked there, that's so big for us. So it's like an indie game. When you get a pick, like you want to go in. You have to go in, right? Like their Psylocke is dead. She doesn't have ult. We can go in here. I ult here. I think this is a fine ult. It felt a little too early, but I think it was good to just help like us take point. I think, yeah, I don't know. Like I'm thinking about it, and then Storm just ults. Maybe that wasn't a good ult, right? So like let's kind of like look back at that. If we save our ult for Storm ult, then and they're already down Psylocke, we should be winning the fight anyways. So like I guess this is kind of where the ult talks come in. So we are up 6v5, right? Because we know Psylocke's dead. We know Psylocke doesn't have ult. So the only thing that can really contest us there is Storm ult. Really just looking back at this. And so I think probably what I should have done is saved ult there. I kind of wanted to ult and go into damage stance, mostly just to sort of like gain point because they have to back off. And again, we're in damage stance, so everybody gets amplified damage. But I think the correct play there is to just save it as a counter ult. Because again, remember, like we are up one player, and they're down a damage dealer, so they shouldn't even be doing as much damage anyways. So, you know, I think it's probably best in hindsight to just save ult there. And then we end up losing the round. And this is kind of where it can get like a little frustrating as a support player because support ults are just so freaking impactful for the game. Like it really feels like that support ults are just like make or break the game. And so like it's really, really important to have good, consistent support ults because just one bad ult can cost you an entire round. And I think me having that ult there kind of cost us that round. If I just saved it for the Storm ult, then nobody dies, and we still get point control, right? So right there, I know I was saying I thought it was a good ult earlier, but really looking back at it, I think it was just a bad ult. But let's go ahead and skip through this sort of initial stage and kind of get back into the gameplay. And we're back. This is the power of editing. I know we're only back like 20 seconds in the future, but we are 20 seconds in the future. Okay, so it's important to note when you're playing domination as well that what kind of ults do the enemy have, right? Because ults carry over in domination when you're going over from round to round. Not in convoy, but in domination they do. So it's important to kind of note, it's like, okay, when did people ult? What kind of ults do they have? All that kind of jazz. I unfortunately don't have ult. We have about 30% towards our ult right now. So here I just kind of want to sit back, position back, and try not to take damage and just farm up my ult. Black Panther dives, but Magneto has a good shield. Magneto is really good at helping supports counter dive. And we left shift here. We left shift here because we saw multiple people getting weak. And I made this in my Luna guy video, but like whenever multiple people are getting weak, it's really perfect for Luna left shift because it can penetrate targets really easily and heal a lot. It heals more than her autos do by about 15. So that's why we did that. But unfortunately, kind of looked like we were still losing the fight, but we were able to get some picks. We did get one pick, and then we also got a res on somebody, which is huge. So here, again, we're just sitting back, farming up our ult. We're not playing too aggressive here. When you're support, you do want to play for your ult as much as you can. I mean, that's just obvious. But here we are able to save Bucky, which is huge. Get dove by Black Panther. We're just going to play up, though, right? Because we want our team to help us. We don't want to sit far back to where our team can't help us. We want to walk towards our teammates. So here we're able to get ult. They do, unfortunately, still have zone control, but I'm just kind of waiting for a little bit, and then we see a Psylocke ult, so we're going to go ahead and rip a counter ult. I think that ult's completely fine. We are able to frag the Storm, and we do get the Psylocke. And we get 3. So that right there, perfect ult, right? That's a DPS ult that just got completely negated. Everybody's up. We saw what was going on. We positioned behind everybody, saw how the fight was playing out, and then we were able to get that ult going. So, again, most ults in this game, as long as I'm countering, are going to be really, really good. Especially because, and this is important to note, we have a Rocket. I don't like Rocket as much in Domination. In particular, I think he's completely fine, if not actually really good in Convoy. But in Domination in particular, I don't like him as much because I feel like you really need support ults to hold point or like to attack point, and Rocket not having that big support ult that can do that kind of really sucks. Healing ult, sustain ult, essentially. But we are going to be able to evade the Storm ult, and we're just going to get heals on everybody. probably not the best pathing by me. I just wanted to heal up everybody, but maybe we should have taken that back path there because at least I still live. But maybe our teammates die there. Who knows? So in any case, though, we're going to have to reset that anyways because we did lose a few members. So me dying there, I don't really think mattered too much. So we're going to come here off respawn, left shift our allies, and again, just playing for ult. Luna gets ult really fast, especially if people are grouped. Any support does, which is going to be huge. So I love maps like this when people are kind of forced to group up to push these narrow passages. And yeah, I mean, we're at 90% already. We're about to get ult. I don't know why I right-clicked there. Maybe I heard somebody. Huge strange ult, though. And we end up ulting here. Bad ult. Really bad ult. I kind of got a little bit nervous, right? I didn't realize we were winning the fight that hard. And I saw Magneto was about to die. And I was like, okay, let me rip this ult. Horrible ult, though. For obvious reasons, right? Like, we can see the fight was pretty much over by the time I ulted. And so it's kind of important to just sort of keep your mind focused. I don't know, like young Padawan, right? And talking Star Wars here. Just kind of keep focused on what's going on in the fight. But we're going to go back over here. Psylocke has our ult now, and we're dead. So this is just like round one, whereas we ulted too early, and then their Storm got a free ult on us. Luckily, I was able to get rocket res, but I did use it, so I got to make sure I abuse it. We're going to go ahead and just try to heal up. Luckily, my team is winning. You know, I don't... I can't cap. Like, sometimes I feel like why do we win situations where I feel like we shouldn't win, right? Like, I screwed up ult. Like, Psylocke had probably a decent ult that she was able to kill the enemy healer. I feel like that's a win, and she was able to live, and we somehow still won that. So, I mean, maybe it's because of the rocket res, but they were just winning, it seemed like, without me anyways. So I don't know how that works, but luckily we were able to win that fight. And as long as we can win this next push, we should win the round. Usually in Dom, I think a good rule of thumb is like 20 seconds per push. 20 seconds or more, maybe 30 seconds per push. So usually when you get around the 70 to 80% mark, if they fail a push, then you guys should be able to get it unless one person kind of, you know, touches it into OT. But they have Cloak and Dagger ult. We're going to just back off here. We're not really getting pressured out anymore, which is huge. So we're just going to be able to freely heal our tanks. I don't know why that rocket res beacon is out in the middle of the open. That seems kind of silly to me. But here we're going to left shift, super good shields by them, and I get a really good left shift off. Now I have my ult. I think this is a completely fine ult. We're just going to go ahead and, you know, not die to the Psylocke and keep everybody alive. And so that's what we're going to do. It is an OT, so we do have the advantage here. Well, we don't have the advantage, but we do with Luna ult. That's what I meant. Unfortunately, we're going to get Storm ulted. I still think the ult was fine, though. We weren't able to counter Storm ult, but we all could have died prior to that Storm ult happening. So, you know, you can't counter everything. It was just good by the Storm to hold it. But we are going to respawn here, and I know for a fact we win this round. Otherwise, I wouldn't have posted this up. I'm just trying to figure out how we do. Oh, maybe we get a good Magneto ult here. Is that what happens? Nope, that's not what happens. But we are healing. Healing. What else do supports do? Got to kill these Loki clones. If you guys are ever playing DPS players, especially, like, you got to kill the Loki clones. It makes Loki so much less useful. I don't want to say useless, but so much less useful if his clones are dead. But that was a good Groot ult by them. Super good Bucky ult, though, too, to help kill a few people. And I guess they end up stepping off point. That's kind of how we win that round right there. Okay, so maybe we got a little bit lucky, and we pushed them off point. But we were able to farm up some more charges to our ult for this round, which is good. Some more energy. So we're not going to start at completely 0, but we should start off at 61. Okay, cool. That's not bad. Let's go ahead and skip a little bit. And we're back. Isn't it cool that we could just skip all the boring parts? Let's go. This is actually like one of my more favorite domination maps, I guess. Like I mentioned before, I don't really like Dom, but if I was going to play any map, it'd be this one. I also don't really like the Dom maps that much, too. There's just something about this game type. But in any case, though, yeah, we're just going to, you know, try to... We want a position here to where they can't really hit us that much, so we don't have to worry about healing ourselves or having rocket heal us, but we can still, like, heal them. Unfortunately, Groot is actually really good here, so we are going to have to kind of get out of our comfort zone a little bit and walk up. In fact, I think probably playing on the left side is better than where I'm playing, but I think this is... you know, completely fine since we're winning the fight anyways. We do have our ult, so that's cool. We can be a little bit more aggressive when we have our ult up. It's like a little secret weapon, you know. But yeah, I mean, here we're just kind of chilling, we're vibing, nothing too crazy. We're creating a little bit of space, you know. We don't want to overextend. Here's a really good ult. Psylocke comes in, ults, even Namor ults too, and we negate 2 for 1. So it's great, right? Like if we can negate 2 ults for 1 ult, it's perfect. Now we're holding our push. We know that both the enemy DPS ults are down. So even though we don't have Luna ult anymore, the fact that they're down both their DPS ults, it should be a free fight as long as, you know, we don't screw it up. Or actually, I guess they had 3 DPS ults because they still have the Storm. I forgot about her. How could I forget about the Storm? You know, been the bane of my existence all game. But, ooh, we're going to be able to get a nice little flick onto the Psylocke there. And our team's winning, too. I think Groot had a really good ult or something. Groot was able to frag a couple people, which is huge. And now we just kind of have control. So now the enemy team's struggling. They only really have about, like, 2 solid pushes left in this game, which is good. So we're just going to be chilling here. And, yeah, again, just creating a little bit of space, making it hard for him to get in, but not overextending. That's the important part, right? You don't want to overextend like that guy is doing. I don't know what that guy's doing. But maybe he's getting a good flank, so whatever. Unfortunately, Magneto dies. We almost have ult back up. Kind of playing for this. Their enemy C and D ulted, so we have to be a little careful here. But now we have ult. Storm's about to ult me, and I didn't ult. I think that's completely fine. I don't remember if I didn't ult on purpose or not, but just really looking back at this game, that's fine because we already had 2 or 3 people that died. So like another lesson for ulting is that you want to regroup, right? You don't want to stagger. So if we ult there, sure, we negate Storm ult, but like we're not really going to take point because everybody's dead anyways, right? Or at least like 50% of our team is dead. So that's a good lesson to learn there. It's like there is a perfect time to hold it. In fact, that was a waste of a Storm ult because now we can kind of repush. And now we have Luna ult. So we're going to ult this Groot ult. We're going to hop in the damage stance with rocket damage as well. Both increase our teammates' damage by 40%. I don't know if that's cumulative or multiplicative, whatever the case, but they're going to get a massive damage boost off that. We're going to be able to retake point. And now we're just going to play super, super far up. So really bad Storm ult by them. And good for us to hold Luna ult. But Storm already has ult back up somehow. I don't know how that character gets ult up so fast. That's kind of crazy. It really feels like she just ulted me like 30 seconds ago. I don't know. Namor's going to ult, though. And I think the enemy Groot wall actually blocked it or something like that. That was so funny. And we're going to be able to get points. So I hope you guys enjoyed this gameplay commentary, enjoyed that game, and learned a lot from it. Again, it was mostly just centered around the ults this game, learning when to ult and how to ult and all that kind of stuff. I'm still like getting off bad ults too, but as long as we can learn from it, I think that's important. And there are also a couple like pretty cool moments in the game as well that I thought were just like really, really good. So I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay commentary, and until the next video, see ya.